Let me take a moment and talk about Riverside.fm. It allows you to record studio quality audio and up to 4K video. When you need to record audio and video, Riverside.fm can do it. So if you're looking for a hero platform for all your recording needs, from podcasts to webinars to any video content, Riverside.fm. I've got a promo code for you where you'll receive a 30% discount on the first 3 months of your subscription. I'll give it to you twice. The promo code is SHIPIT. All one word, SHIPIT, and you'll pick up a 30% discount on your first 3 months of your subscription. Riverside.fm.
In this special edition of Football's History Rewind, where we look at football year by year, we take a look at professional football's rise in the 1890s and how it changed the game, and who were the people that were involved in pro football in 1890. These stories and more coming up in a moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time. So as we come out of the tunnel of the Sports History Network, let's take the field and go no huddle through the portal of positive gridiron history with pigskindispatch.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of pigskindispatch.com, your portal to positive football history. Welcome to the Pig Pen and to the Football History Rewind, where we go through football's history on a year-by-year basis. And we are still in the late 19th century, the 1890s. And we thought maybe this is a great opportunity to take a look at some things other than the college game that was going on, because we had professional football was just starting up in the 1890s, and a great history there. We purposely waited till this moment because we wanted to have our Scandals and Scoundrels episode that we just appeared this past Wednesday on some of early pro football. And we thought it appropriate now to talk about more of the pro football of the 1890s. Because for almost 80 years, the thought was that John Brailier was the first paid football player in 1895. On September 3rd of that year, if you remember, Brailier was paid $10 plus expenses to play for the Latrobe Athletic Association. Latrobe's starting quarterback, Eddie Blair, had a prior commitment to play in a baseball game, so his Latrobe club approached a 17-year-old Brailier that was about to start school at Washington and Jefferson College to play in his place. Brailier was reluctant, as he did not want to get injured before his starting a promising college career, so Latrobe made it worth his while. The Latrobe team won 12-0 over the rival Jeannette Athletic Association, and Brailier went on to have a great season at W&J, while also playing a few more games for Latrobe too. The next season, after fielding offers from multiple colleges and clubs to play ball, he settled on playing at West Virginia University. After only a few games for the Mountaineers, he left the team due to what was described as financial difficulties of the school not taking care of players, and returned to Latrobe to coach and play quarterback for that club. Now, we have to mention that Jeannette and Latrobe are there in the southwestern Pennsylvania, in that Pittsburgh area, same as the Pittsburgh Athletic Club and the Allegheny Athletic Association that we talked about in Scandals and Scoundrels. Well, there were almost rumors and even newspaper articles from 1892, however, that claimed a trio of players in November 12th, 1892's Pittsburgh Athletic Club versus Allegheny Athletic Association were paid for their services in what ended up being an exhibition game just prior to kickoff due to the accusations by the PAC and the AAA was paying the three players. The trio in question were Ed Malley, Sport Donnelly, Pudge Heffelfinger. Shortly after, the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio opened in 1963, a paper document, often referred to as the birth certificate of professional football, was obtained by the historians at the Hall of Fame and put on display. The doc was an expense record of the Allegheny Athletic Association from 1892. On the page, it clearly shows debits and credits of the November 12, 1892 game, including a line that says, William Heffelfinger for playing cash $500. An earlier line in the November 12th entry says that $75 was accrued for Donnelly, Heffelfinger, and Malley via check for their expenses. The smoking gun had finally surfaced in a controversy where most of the parties at that point were no longer with us. So for 80 years, they thought that Brailer was the first paid pro football player, 1895. Here it happened 1892 by Heffelfinger, of all people. That's who we know now. Well, the Pro Football Hall of Fame's website, they have that document on display on their website to read. I just told you about the smoking gun birth certificate of professional football. And it now claims that John Brailer is in fact the 7th player in history known to have been proven to be paid. And our list has this. William Pudge Heffelfinger, $500 plus expenses by Allegheny Athletic Association on November 12th, 1892. Ben Sport Donnelly, $250 plus expenses by AAA on November 19th, a week later, 1892. Peter Wright, $50 per game by the AAA for 1893 season. James Von Cleve, $50 per game by AAA for the 1893 season. Oliver Rafferty, $50 per game by AAA for 1893 season. So the top 5 Allegheny Athletic Association paid them over a 2-year span. In 6th place, Lawson Fiskus, $20 per game for the 1894 season by the Greensburg Athletic Association, also in the Pittsburgh area. And then John Brailer comes in at $10 plus expenses by Latrobe's Athletic Association for that game on September 3rd, 1895. Now, if you remember correctly, back when we had our early pro football spotlight on the Massillon Tigers, Greg Fasseri, author of the Gridiron Legacy Pro Football's Missing Origin Story, starts his story in parallel as his great-grandfather, Bob Shiring, was playing football near Pittsburgh for the Homestead Athletic Club and later the Pittsburgh Pros. Shiring played in what many consider the first professional world championship games of the gridiron in the late 1890s and early 1900s as his Pittsburgh area squads matched up against the best pro teams of that era, including a tough Philly team and their star, the former Penn Quaker legend, Blondie Wallace. A few years later, Pennsylvania professional football lost its popularity and was transferred to nearby Ohio, and that's when Massillon and Canton and Akron and all them started to really spring up. And those Sunday blue laws really killed pro football until 1933, till they were lifted, and of course they were then entered into the NFL. But they're still in Pennsylvania football. They had, we heard about, the Union Club of Phoenixville. We had the Philadelphia Quakers teams and some others that sprung up there, Pottsville and Frankfurt, having some teams there in early football and early pro football. So pro football started in Western Pennsylvania, and we're glad we brought it to you. So stay tuned for our next episode of Football History Rewind next week, when we are going to get into some more of the late 1890s football. So till tomorrow, everybody, have a great gridiron day. Peeking up at the clock, the time's running down. We're going to go into victory formation, take a knee, and let this baby run out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back tomorrow for the next podcast. We invite you to check out our website, PigskinDispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. PigskinDispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. A special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff, for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? You should check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Pictorum Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. Instead of a boring old tie, get him a historic baseball photo taken by Henry High Sandom at the historic Polo Grounds Stadium in New York City during the 1894 Temple Cup. Or, if he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL poster. These are so good looking that you'll be amazed how they turn out. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order.